Here's something insane. It's 2005, high schoolers are camping outside a clothing store at 5 a.m. Not for Black Friday deals, not to meet celebrities, just for a chance to get a job there. Welcome to Abercrombie and Fitch, where an employment required model level looks and teenagers paid $70 for a basic hoodie gladly. For 15 years, Abercrombie and Fitch ruled American teen culture with an iron fist. Then they made one catastrophic error that sent them spiraling from retail royalty to cautionary tale, losing billions in the process. Today on the Philosophy of Marketing, we're diving deep into one of retail's most dramatic implosions. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why some of today's most exclusive brands might be walking the same dangerous path. To grasp how Abercrombie transformed from respected outfitter to teen empire to corporate disaster, let's rewind the clock. It's 1892. Abercrombie & Fitch wasn't dressing suburban teenagers, they were equipping African expeditions for Ernest Hemingway and crafting rifles for President Roosevelt. For nearly a century, A&F remained the gold standard for outdoor adventures. Then 1988 arrived, bringing Mike Jeffries as the new CEO. He spotted an opportunity everyone else missed, and it had nothing to do with camping gear. Picture Mike Jeffries sitting in his office, watching mall surveys showing teenagers spending $150 billion annually. His light bulb moment was radical. Why not build the first high-end lifestyle brand designed exclusively for teenagers, then make it nearly impossible to access? What unfolds next represents pure marketing wizardry that continues influencing retail strategies today. Rather than copying industry standards, Mike Jeffries implemented 3 revolutionary changes that should have ended his career. Move 1, recruit only physically attractive staff members, dubbed brand representatives, no retail experience required, just good looks. Move 2, slap luxury price tags on everyday items, charging $50 to $90 for basic tees when rivals sold similar pieces for $12 to $18. Move 3, transform retail spaces into exclusive social clubs featuring dim lighting, booming soundtracks, and overpowering fragrance clouds that could knock you out from 50 feet away. Now think about it, employment based purely on appearance, premium pricing for ordinary garments, converting stores into nightclub atmospheres, this defied every principle of customer-friendly retail. And here's marketing lesson number 1. When your product lacks differentiation, engineer an unforgettable atmosphere. This is where Jeffries demonstrated pure brilliance. Understanding he couldn't out-design established fashion houses, he repositioned Abercrombie as something beyond clothing, an exclusive social passport. Customers weren't purchasing fabric, they were buying acceptance into an elite circle. Look at the brilliant experiential choices. Darkened interiors created intimacy while concealing garment imperfections. Thunderous music generated party energy. So loud customers couldn't think about prices. Attractive personnel made shopping feel aspirational. Even the cologne pumped through ventilations at 3 times the normal retail strength. This created scent memories linking happiness to the brand. We target the cool, attractive, all-American kid who everyone wants to be like. Some people don't fit our brand, and honestly, they shouldn't. Mike Jeffries, CEO. Jeffries essentially weaponized high school social dynamics as a business model. Surprisingly, this approach initially delivered spectacular results. Creating an exclusive environment was merely step 1. Abercrombie needed to cement its position as the ultimate teenage status symbol. Rather than conventional advertising blitzes, Jeffries deployed a sophisticated scarcity model centered on making the brand feel perpetually out of reach, decades before limited drops became trendy. Here's the brilliant twist. They avoided mass market expansion, instead they cherry-picked. Upscale shopping centers in wealthy suburbs like Beverly Hills and Greenwich, university towns with affluent student populations, think Stanford Shopping Center, vacation hotspots where teens congregated, Hamptons, Miami Beach, deliberately limited store counts to preserve rarity, never more than 300 locations, and massive flagship locations in cultural capitals, Times Square and Michigan Avenue. But here's what's fascinating. While competitors like American Eagle opened over 1,000 stores, Abercrombie stayed deliberately small. This created actual scarcity, not just the appearance of it. Think about brands today that use similar tactics. Supreme drops, luxury fashion houses, even some tech companies with invite-only launches. The psychology is identical. And here's the amount of locations for Abercrombie competitors. The Abercrombie stores in 2005 had 312 locations. American Eagle in 2005, 827 locations. Hollister, 195 locations. and Aeropostale in 2005, 743 locations. These locations specifically targeted social climbers who viewed Abercrombie as their gateway to popularity. Once the influential kids embraced it, peer pressure did the rest. It's the same reason people camp out for Supreme drops or fight for Birkin bags. Scarcity creates irresistible desire. Marketing lesson number 2. Manufacture craving through calculated unavailability. Marshall Cohen, chief industry expert at NDP Group, breaks down their psychology. Abercrombie mastered artificial scarcity before anyone understood its power. The brand inaccessibility became its greatest asset. This transcended simple retailing, it was deliberate cultural manipulation, and here's where it gets interesting. Jeffrey's masterstroke involved recognizing that when actual product quality barely varies between brands, perceived exclusivity becomes everything. Marketing lesson number 3. When selling commodities, market dreams instead of features. While competitors focused on affordability and selection, Abercrombie quietly constructed something far more valuable, an aspirational identity system. But here's what they missed. They built it on exclusion rather than inclusion. Their narrative centered on embodying the perfect American teenager, gorgeous individuals living effortlessly enviable lives in scenarios most teens could never access. The quarterly publications weren't merchandising clothes, they were peddling transformation fantasies. Beach volleyball with perfect bodies, fraternity parties at mansions, casual yacht hangouts, worlds most teens could only dream of. Notice the stark contrast. American Eagle showed teenagers wearing jeans at school. Abercrombie showcased barely clothed models in romanticized situations, completely disconnected from typical teenage reality. Private jets, exclusive beaches, mansion parties. The cultural influence was insane. Teenagers would tear pages from A&F catalogs to hang in their lockers. Schools banned the catalogs for being too provocative. Parents complained, but kids obsessed over them. The brand became so aspirational that wearing a single A&F item could boost your social status overnight. And here's some of the stats from A&F. Typical item costs $73 compared to a competitor average of $28. Manufacturing markup, an estimated 900 to 1200%. Teen brand recognition, 97% by their peak years. Must-have brand ranking, consistently number 1 for 8 years, and quarterly catalog circulation, 1.2 million copies worldwide. By their golden era, Abercrombie generated $3.2 billion annually, commanding luxury margins on basic apparel. This wasn't fashion retail, this was psychological engineering. We don't market clothing, we sell the dream of becoming someone better, more popular, more desired. Former A&F brand director. The speed of their cultural penetration remains staggering. Building this emotional connectivity typically requires decades. However, Abercrombie accomplished it in under 8 years. But the question becomes, how do you sustain exclusivity when everyone wants in? Around 2001, Jeffries orchestrated another strategic coup. He positioned Abercrombie as the default wardrobe for virtually every teenage character in popular entertainment. This media saturation became the primary marketing engine. Every appearance in youth-focused content reinforced Abercrombie's status as the official uniform of cool kids, creating an endless cycle of desire. And here's some of the examples of how popular A&F was at their peak. The OC from 2003 to 2007, the cast regularly wore A&F. One Tree Hill, 2003 to 2012, multiple episodes featuring the brand. She's All That in 1999, makeover scene included A&F shopping, 10 Things I Hate About You in 1999. They also had popular characters in A&F gear, and finally in the American Pie series, consistent brand appearances. All of this media attention led to A&F dominance. Their annual marketing investment, $180 million at its height, retail locations, over 350 in premium venues worldwide, profit margins 47% compared to the industry standard of 22%, entertainment appearances in over 250 films and shows from 2001 to 2012, Teen Dream Employer ranking number 1 for 6 straight years, and finally songs mentioning the brand, 89 different songs between 2000 to 2010. This approach completely revolutionized fashion marketing mythology. Instead of following cultural trends, Abercrombie became the trendsetter that others desperately imitated. Consider the audacity. Jeffries launched this transformation in the mid-90s, and by 2006 commanded nearly $3.5 billion in revenue while dictating teenage social hierarchies nationwide. Marketing lesson number 4, cultural saturation generates unstoppable momentum. Dr. Robert Cialdini confirms this strategy. Abercrombie cracked the code on teenage psychology. They weren't selling products, they were selling social status and belonging. But what happens when your cultural dominance starts to feel oppressive instead of aspirational? This brings us to Abercrombie's most impressive achievement, achieving total cultural integration without traditional celebrity endorsement. Throughout the early 2000s, Abercrombie became the go-to brand for young celebrities and influencers. The remarkable part, they rarely compensated for these endorsements. Stars like Britney Spears, members of NSYNC, early Disney Channel actors, and emerging pop stars naturally gravitated towards Abercrombie to connect with younger audiences. By 2006, Abercrombie appeared in over 150 songs, dominated teen movie wardrobes, and became universal shorthand for popular teenager. The brand transcended retail, it became social currency itself. And here's the timeline of Abercrombie. 2001, initial entertainment industry adoption. 2004, major music industry integration, hip-hop artist name-dropping A&F. 2006, peak cultural dominance across all media. 2008, symbol of teenage affluence and status. And finally in 2010, referenced as quintessential prep aesthetic. The cultural penetration was everywhere. MTV's My Super Sweet 16 featured A&F gift cards as luxury presents, reality shows used A&F shopping trips as rewards, the brand became synonymous with privilege itself. Yet this incredible success story contains a dark irony. The very strategy that built their empire would ultimately trigger its collapse. When your foundation is built on exclusion, eventually you alienate too many people. Marketing lesson number 5. Exclusivity-based brands carry inherent expiration dates. The realization leads to Abercrombie's most critical mistake and our most important takeaway. So how did America's most coveted teen brand transform into a corporate pariah? The answer lies in one fundamental error, pushing exclusivity beyond acceptable limits while society was evolving around them. During the 2000s, Abercrombie accumulated serious criticism for discriminatory employment policies, size exclusion practices, and inflammatory public statements that alienated vast portions of their potential market. In 2003, Anthony Ocampo, a Filipino employee, filed a lawsuit claiming he was forced to work in a stockroom to hide his ethnicity. 2004, a $40 million settlement occurs, the largest employment discrimination case in retail history. In 2005, the look policy requires employees to maintain specific appearance standards. In 2009, Jeffries publicly refused plus-size clothing, stating larger sizes don't fit the aspirational image. And in 2013, Business Insider interview with Jeffries said, "We don't want everybody. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely." The 2010s brought social media, and suddenly everyone A&F had excluded had a voice. The hashtag Fitch the Homeless movement gained millions of views, body-positive influencers called out their size discrimination, former employees shared horror stories of appearance-based scheduling. Society was evolving. Exclusivity that seemed aspirational in 2001 felt discriminatory and outdated by 2011. Social media amplified voices of everyone Abercrombie had systematically excluded, and the backlash was brutal. And here's the declining performance metrics from A&F. The revenue peak in 2008, $3.75 billion. The revenue declined by 2015, 25% to $2.8 billion. A stock value collapse, 78% from historical highs. Store closures, over 200 locations shuttered by 2017. Teen brand preference dropped from number 1 to number 47 by 2015. And finally, social media sentiment, 78% negative mentions by 2014. The mathematics are brutal. When your business model depends on making people feel unwelcome, eventually the unwelcome becomes your majority, and in the age of social media, they have megaphones. Now, what insights can we extract from Abercrombie's spectacular ascent and dramatic collapse? And here are 5 critical strategies applicable to any brand building today. Number 1, atmosphere trumps product quality. Abercrombie succeeded by creating experiences, not superior merchandise. Number 2, controlled scarcity amplifies desire. Strategic limitation made their brand more coveted than mass market alternatives. Number 3, sell transformation, not transactions. They marketed personal reinvention rather than clothing features. Number 4, cultural integration beats paid promotion. Organic media presence proved more powerful than traditional advertising. And finally, number 5, exclusivity demands constant evolution. Their fatal flaw, exclusive brands must adapt continuously or become culturally irrelevant. Today's smart brands learn from A&F's mistakes. Look at Glossier, exclusive but inclusive. Supreme, scarce but welcoming. These brands create desire without creating divisions. Abercrombie's story shows that every brand strategy has natural limits. The smartest companies evolve before they're forced to. Mike Jeffries was eventually replaced, and the company has since embraced inclusive sizing and diverse marketing, though rebuilding trust takes decades. Today's definition of aspirational is completely different. Modern cool means embracing everyone, not excluding people. Fran Horowitz, current A&F CEO. Next time you encounter that familiar moose logo, remember you're witnessing one of marketing's most powerful case studies, demonstrating how exclusivity can build empires and destroy them with equal force. Now, if this breakdown of A&F provided you any value, hit that like button and subscribe to the Philosophy of Marketing and ring the notification bell. We drop deep dives like this every single week, analyzing the psychology behind the world's biggest brand wins and epic failures. Drop a comment below answering this specific question. Which brands rise and fall should we dissect next? Make sure you're shaping them for the better, not building empires on exclusion. And remember, exceptional marketing doesn't just move products, it shapes entire cultures.